Well, hello. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you ladies could meet me here today. I have so much that I really want to share with you on today, okay? I promise I'm going to take my time. I don't know what happened. A couple of nights ago, I kind of like bit down on my tongue, but I just said to myself, I don't care how I had to show up today. I wanted to show up for you ladies so that I could pour into y'all because I feel such a pull in the spirit right now. For those of you that do know that I am a believer, I'm a Christian, but I also am a family life educator. I'm also a certified life coach, along with enjoying the arts of traveling. But today I wanted to pour into my sisters. And if I had to title this, I would just say that you don't belong there. And I want to share with you the reason why I feel like you don't belong there. I've been running around these past couple of weeks and seeing a lot of women from different walks of life. I've been traveling by car, going to different states. I've been a part of some very nice events these past couple of weekends. And I started thinking about a discussion that I had with this young lady. I was substituting one day and I happened to be in this particular class. But while I was there, I noticed this young lady who seems like I could tell that the anointing of God was on her life. But deep down in my spirit, I felt as though she didn't belong there. And I told her that. I didn't tell her that day. I waited until we had completed that session of the class and we exchanged phone numbers. And after that, we decided to meet for lunch. When we met for lunch, we discussed so many different things about our dreams and our goals and our aspirations outside of the fact of being somebody's mom, right? Outside of the fact of all the things that we do. I know that there is still a burden and a yearning and a desire on the inside for more. So I'm going to share my story, and then I want to get into what God has laid in my spirit, okay? And I wrote some things down so that if I do kind of like try to go off to the beaten path, onto the left or right, it could pull me back in. And so I'm going to start with the fact that I remember a time in my life that I used to kind of like hide. I would hide behind other people to kind of not be seen. And I would always offer to volunteer to help other people out with their ministry or their businesses, and even go the extra mile, put on their apparel and help them sell their garments and their different products, just being what I would call a servant. And I just want to help people. I just want to, I don't want to be in the limelight. But deep down inside, I knew that I was called to be a leader. I knew that there was more for me, but I didn't know at the time that I was kind of like dealing with some challenges on the inside of me that probably was laying dormant from my past. And so I just recall always trying to be in the background, but something on the inside of me was always pushing me to the front. No matter where I go, even to this day, I could go to a church and sit in the back or attempt to sit in the back, and someone would call me to the front or to the middle, to the side, because I know that it's not something that I dreamt up. It's not something that I pretended to be or went to school so that I can get the paperwork to prove that I was something. I was already that something before the paperwork even came, and God began to reveal that to me. And so my moral of the story is the fact that I would always just hide. And I didn't know why. I love people. I love to pour into women. And I understand that that is my calling. That is my, the thing that I enjoy, the thing that I can do in my sleep is to pour into women, to assist them to get to the next level. And therefore, I want others to connect to their dreams and their goals, their visions, their aspirations, because I wasn't satisfied being in the background. There was something pulling me, something driving me to say, no, it's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn. But I was like, kind of like, no, no, no. Inside, my mind was screaming, I can't do it. I don't think I have what it takes. On the other end, I knew I had what it took because God had already poured that inside of me. But for some reason, I was always trying to avoid things. And then I realized that avoidance was the accountability, the responsibility, and rejection. No matter what you do in this life, someone is not going to accept what you bring to the table. And we have to be okay with that. There were times when I wasn't, but I felt I was. But understanding at that moment, before I stepped into leadership, before I stepped into pastoring, I had that fear of rejection. Or if I took a wrong step, if I said the wrong word, if I did something that was not lining up with something that someone wanted me to do, I felt as though it was going to be a repercussion. And therefore, I kind of like just try to stay in the back. But God allowed me to know that that wasn't my destiny. And I would never feel fulfilled walking in somebody else's shoes or attempting to walk in somebody else's shoes. That did not fit me. That did not suit me. That did not bring me joy. And so just like me, I know that there are some of you out there that I want to tell you that you don't belong there. You don't belong there. I knew that working in the marketplace, it was something that I needed to do because we need finances. We need to be able to clothe ourselves and take care of our homes and things of that nature. If you're renting, you have a mortgage, putting clothes on your back. You have a car, you have to take care of those things. I knew that that was something I had to do, but in my gut, I knew I did not want to work in a marketplace where someone had to give me an assignment for their vision. I get it. Some of you do not aspire to be your own boss, and that's okay. But if you know that you were assigned to something, you have to show up as your best self. But for me, I'm just sharing my story so I can pour into you. For me, I knew without a shadow of a doubt, I was not created to stay there. I was created to be there for a season, to learn what I needed to learn, and to get better at what I was trying to do so that I could move on. Understand that working in the marketplace and other people's nonprofit organizations is not a bad thing. I'm using those things as a platform, as an example for where my life had took the turn. And I realized that it was a teaching ground for me, but it was not where I was supposed to stay. It's not where I was supposed to be for the rest of my life. And this is where I want you to understand. How do you know that you don't belong there is when you feel some frustration. When you feel frustrated being at a job, and I've heard lots of women complain about their assignment. I've heard women go to school to get that particular degree or certification in something and work that position for a while, only to discover that you don't like it. You did it because it was status quo, or you lined up with all of the things that other people told you should do, or it looks good on your resume. My question is, did it bring you joy? Do you feel fulfilled? Are you excited about that? If you can say no to half of the things that I asked today, then I know that you don't belong there. You don't belong. Now, let me say this as a disclaimer. I'm not telling anybody to quit their jobs. I'm just telling you to dream out loud, to not hinder yourself from starting a small business, or if you enjoy some type of crafts that you like to do and you want to sell those things, or you want to be able to work in a position that you don't feel like you're qualified for in the marketplace, I'm telling you today that if you're there in a place where you're being, I would say, just trained, then it's going to be time to leave from where you're at, because you don't belong there. You don't belong in a place where you're not happy, where you're not welcome, where you're unwanted. You're not in a place where you should feel like you should settle. I'm talking to those that are in their 40s and 50s and feeling like life is over. But life could just be beginning for you over again, because you can always hit that restart button. I had to understand that for my own life. I had to reset the button and say, listen, I've been into different types of businesses. I've tried so many things that I thought was for me. And it wasn't bad. It was training ground. But I realized that I enjoy and I get pleasure out of pouring into other women. I get pleasure out of counseling. I get pleasure and fulfillment for writing books, and all of those things. They all align with my purpose and why I was created. See, I had to embrace the fact that I was destined for more. And I had to be okay with saying that without feeling cocky. Because some people will make you feel as though, well, who are you to think you something? Who are you to exude any type of confidence? Some people don't mind if you feel as though you're just a little peon in their little group of people. As you excel, then now you become a problem, because you no longer need the accolades or people to clap for you when you understand who you are, when you understand that God created you. Let me just say this to you. Fear will have you in a place where you won't make any moves. Fear will make you say, nah, never mind. I don't even think I'm going to try that. I think I'm just going to settle for what I have, because what I got is good enough. I've settled for men that I knew did not fit where I was going or where I was at that moment. I just allowed myself to fit in jobs and positions because I was afraid at one time to step out, because if you're missing a certain amount of money, what are you going to do? How are you going to fix it? How are you going to take care of things? Then the fear just overtakes you, and you settle and you put up with stuff that you know you do not want to put up with. I was there. I understand about being in relationships, and I'm glad that right now I am not in any relationship, and it is on purpose. At this juncture of my life, I need nothing cluttering my ideas, my visions, my creativity. It's on an all-time high. And therefore, I know for myself, I don't need anyone disturbing my peace, disturbing anything that I have going on in my life at this moment. I have to seize the moment. And we have to understand and learn, when is it our season? And make that move. Press past the fear and get on to the place where you need to be. Push past the fear and proceed to be productive and finding out your niche in life. It's never too late. I don't feel like, oh my God, I missed a moment. I believe I kind of like planted my feet there for a season, but then I realized, as long as you are alive, as long as you have breath in your body and you're still in your right mind, you have a chance to change your mind and to rediscover what you want to do for yourself. Let me kind of give back to you about the young lady that I had met at the school. And I just saw all over her that she was great at whatever she did. But I just sensed that she was not happy there. There was a lack of enthusiasm. And I had a conversation with the person, and they agreed that they were not in a position and that they needed to, that what I was saying about they did not belong there, I'm saying that to y'all today. You don't belong there being, I'm just saying, a punching bag for someone. You don't belong there giving up your peace, assisting others all the time, and not putting yourself on the calendar. You don't belong there not being able to take time to do some type of self-care for yourself. You don't belong there. You don't belong in a position where people disrespect you. You don't belong there. You don't belong there having your mind cluttered with everyone else's problems, situations, circumstances. When in your life, you have peace. But everyone wants to bring you their drama. You don't belong there. You don't belong there being busy with everybody else's stuff. When are you going to take time to focus on your things? You don't belong there. When I realized my position in life, and I realized that I had the ability to say no to things that didn't serve me, didn't bring me peace, didn't bring me joy, didn't make me happy, I decided I was going to change. And my joy is to create content to allow women to affirm themselves and to confirm through the videos that I share. Like, girl, I've been feeling like this. I want to do this or I want to do that. It's time for a pivot. I got tired of watching others live out their dreams. Those that I assisted, I got tired of watching them live out their dreams, and I'm assisting them, but I'm not living out my dreams. And I realized I started to have a feeling of jealousy or envy, and I knew I had no reason to feel like that because I was just as anointed or smart, or I was creative just like they were. And then I had the moment of a light bulb going off to say, this is kind of your fault. Because you are sitting on the sidelines of your own life, watching others live their life out loud while you stay in hiding. You see, I was hiding because I really did not, at that time, I don't think I believed in myself as much as I thought I did. I used to think that believing in yourself was, oh my God, it's blasphemy. I should always be humble. I should act like, oh no. And when someone says to you, you did a great job. Oh, glory to God. Glory be to God was always the answer. But at the same time, God was like, sometimes you need to clap for yourself. It is not idol worship. It is not a sin to encourage yourself. Even David had to encourage himself. Okay? But the Lord was calling me out of hiding at a point in my life. Just like Adam and Eve. They had their little situation going on in the garden. You know the story. When Eve decided to eat the fruit, the forbidden fruit, which caused sin to come upon them. And so now, you know, in Genesis chapter 3, I believe it's in verse 9, when they were talking about, it's 8 and 9, when the Lord just started asking, you know, Adam, where are you? And then he started giving his little speech about, you know, the woman you gave me and all that. But the point I really want to hunt in on in the book of Genesis chapter 3 is the fact that it was sin that caused them to hide. And my sin of being fearful, not feeling good enough, not feeling like my self-esteem was up there at that time in my life, caused me to shrink back. Like some of you may have shrunk back in your lives. Some of you are caretakers. Some of you have put your careers on pause to assist others. Or you might be married, and now because you're married, you're compromising in order to keep peace, and time is passing by, and you're not really living out your authentic self. You're not living out your dreams. You're not living out those things that excite you. Because what excites me is not going to excite you. And vice versa. But you have to find out what works for you. At that time, when I was helping everyone else out with their dreams and goals and businesses and traveling with people and just helping because I felt, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Oh, I need a pat on the back. They go, oh, it's just, oh, thank you so much for helping. But what really kind of got to me was the fact that I knew whatever I was doing in someone else's ministry or someone else's businesses or helping someone in their entrepreneurship journey, I did not feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable. I felt like I was just like having an out-of-body experience. I knew that I should not have been in certain places, but I was hiding. There was times when I didn't want to do ministry. I was hiding in other people's churches. And then I just knew that this is not working for me. It's not bringing me it's not making me feel good about myself. I was stagnant. And some of you are probably stagnant, procrastinating about whatever it is, because you are hiding behind other things. And something else I wanted to kind of point out. Now, this is no pun intended, no disrespect to anybody, but we have so many organizations. You have to have a relationship with God. That's the first thing. An individual relationship. The Bible lets us know that we do have to fellowship with one another. However, when that alone becomes your life, when an organization, doesn't have to be the church, it could be any other type of organizations that you are a part of, but things begin to look like cookie cutters, if you get what I'm trying to say. And God wants you to be your own individual self in the midst of being a part of a ministry or things like that, if you are, in attendance. But what I'm saying is you have to be authentic. You can't try to clone and be like everybody else. God knows I've tried that and it didn't even fit. It doesn't fit. A couple of days ago, I was out and I had went to a couple of parties, and one of the things I had to do was wear a wig on my head. I used to wear wigs all the time, and I'm quite sure if some of you would go back and look at my YouTube channel, you can see me with the wigs on. And when I look at those wigs now, I'd be like, what was I thinking? Some of them I'm like, oh Lord. But at that time, that's where I was, wearing those wigs. And I put a wig on a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually this week just passed, and I didn't feel comfortable in it. It didn't suit this season for my life. And therefore, when I was helping people out, so it got me to thinking. When I was helping and assisting and doing and all of those things that I was doing, I wasn't happy because it didn't fit me. It didn't fit what I wanted to do. It didn't fit my vision. I've been substitute teaching here and there because I just wanted to get some experience underneath my belt, because I truly wanted to be an adjunct professor at the community college. But nevertheless, I did not truly enjoy some of the places that I was teaching in. And I had to be true to myself and say, what is it in this moment and in this season that you truly want to do? We can always find something else to keep us busy, but it just didn't fit. It doesn't fit me. I do it here and there. I have a choice that I can and cannot, or will not do it. on certain days. They call me all the time. Miss Robinson, you want to come up? You know, I'll be like, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Because to me, it doesn't fit where I'm going. It doesn't fit my vision and what God has given me. He has given me clear, like now I understand clearly what my vision is. And my vision, it is to educate women about life journey through the lenses of my research and the things that I have learned by going back to school to enhance my knowledge and understanding about family dynamic and trauma. And then also just to pour into women that at our age, we still feel like we are not fully fulfilled. Can you really say that you are fulfilled in every area of your life? No, nobody can. But there are areas where you can kind of tweak it. And for me, helping out those people, those different ministries wasn't a bad thing, but it was a season for everything. And it didn't fit me anymore. And therefore, the Lord has been pouring into me, okay, this is what you need to do. This is where you are. This is how I want you to show up in your life. When I heed the voice of the Lord, it was like peace just came over me. Why? Because what I was doing, it didn't fit me. Didn't fit me. Didn't make me feel good because that was somebody else's vision. And it's nothing wrong with helping because we need each other. We should be a team. But then it's like, what did God give me individually? What did he speak to me to do? And you can't do that if you are all over the place with other people's stuff. And that leads me into having that moment where I took a pivotal moment and I made a conscious decision to say, enough. I'm going to do what I need to do because this fits me right now. You see, when I think about the story of David and Goliath and how David was asked by his father just to go down there and take, some food to his brothers and to check on them too, kind of like to spy on them. But when he got down there, the Bible says that there was a situation, they heard that Goliath was threatening to whoop people's behinds, okay, tear them up. And David, he overheard the conversation and he like jumped out there like, yo, where he at? I'm ready to get down. Hey, I'm ready to go for it. And then you have Saul, who decides, oh, well, he looks around, he decides because of the way David looked, he needed some armor. Story goes on and he gave him some armor. And you'll find that story in 1 Samuel chapter 17. I believe it's verse 38 through 40. And so David, the story says that he put on this armor that Saul gave him. Because he felt, hey, you can wear this because, hey, I know it's going to work for you. It's going to work for you. And it didn't. For one, it was too big. And in my mind, I'm imagining this thing like, David's like, what is this? Like, it doesn't even fit me. It don't even look good on me. I don't feel comfortable in this. This ain't happening. This is not for me. And therefore, he told Saul, he was like, I got to take this off. This is not for me. And I know to others, it may have probably looked strange when David made that decision to take off the armor. They probably thought to themselves, the other service guys, the other people at the army, those out there, the Philistines, and, even his brothers was like, are you crazy? Probably saying all kind of stuff about David. And he was like, nah, I can't wear that. And it probably was in fear of his life because they're considering you don't have any armor going out there and you about to fight Goliath. But David used what God had given him to use. He had that slingshot and smooth stones. But it fit him. He was able to work with it. And just like some of you, you may have thought what you got, maybe this ain't enough. Because I have tried so many times, well, maybe I need to do it this way. Maybe I need to do my business that way. And it doesn't work. Everything doesn't work for everybody. And let that be a lesson to some of you out there, that it doesn't work for everybody, because everybody's not you. But whatever God has given you will work for you. Why? Because it's something that is a God-given thing. So what you have right now, listen, you don't belong there. You don't belong in that state of mind. You don't belong somewhere where you know it doesn't fit you. You don't belong. I'll go even deeper. Sometimes we know that the season has passed for friendships, but yet we stay because it is familiar. I know what I'm talking about. And therefore, when you want to make a move, when you want to shift, here goes these words. Oh, you think you're better than. It's not that. But then again, is it? Could it be that? There are times when people do see the elevation on your life and you don't even see it. And then you hear the crazy stuff being said. But to them, they see you in that light when you don't even see it yourself. That God has raised you up. He has anointed you. He has given you the ability to get wealth. He created us to be fearfully and wonderfully made. We all know the scripture. But at the same time, do you believe it about yourself? See, that's something that people who God sends my way, I have to reiterate that to them, that we have an intellect a lot of times. I heard this pastor say, I can't figure his name, but I want to give the credit to whom credit is due. It was a pastor that I was listening to the other day, and when he said these words, it made me jump right up. We all have this intellectual way of looking at the scriptures. But to believe God with everything in us, to have an absolute trust in God, that's something totally different that a lot of us don't have. To trust that if you fail, if you fall flat on your back, God will still make a way for you to get back up. If you try something and it doesn't work, if people talk about you, so what? It's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen if you do good and you blow up and you become this big old mega star or whatever it is in the field that you're in. People are going to talk if you do good. People are going to talk if you do bad. People are going to talk if you stay there. People are going to talk if you leave. That's never going to change. And I heard Dr. Tracy Lynn say this today. People will change. Faces will change. People you may have poured into. But the assignment will remain the same. And I said, oh my God, that was like, oh my God, you just spoke volumes to my spirit. Tracy Lynn spoke volumes to my spirit because I had situations in my life where I was a leader in different things that I was doing. And then people tried to undermine what I was doing and kind of shift the ministry by trying to take some of the members and do other things. That's another story for another day. But the point I'm making is it can discourage you. Like, she had a business and she talked about how people tried to come in and infiltrate what she was doing and tried to sabotage her business. But she still loved on them because she had the love of Christ. She had the mind of Christ. And when you got the mind of Christ, you look at things from a different lens. And that's the place that I want us to get to. Get a different perspective about yourself through the lens of Christ. He told us that we could do all things through Christ. He strengthens us. And he gives us the ability to get wealth. Or he makes provision for us. Whatever you need from God, whatever it is, there is a word. There's a biblical principle for your situation. So I'm going to say it again to you. Some places that you're in right now, you don't belong there. You know it. God knows it. And I know that he sent me to tell you that. I wanted to encourage you. I wanted to strengthen you. I wanted to build you up. I wanted to fortify you in knowing that you're not alone. It's so many times that people have gotten into different support groups or circles of friendships and all kind of things, only to find out that that was not it. Only to find out that a lot of discord, chaos had happened. But one person you can count on, one thing you can count on God to be there in your corner. And he will send someone. He will show you through a series of events that where you're at or what you're doing is not it. Therefore, I wanted to say, God anointed me to be a leader. Yes, he did. He anointed me to be my own business owner. Yes, he did. And just like with David, David was able to do damage to Goliath with what God had given him. And we're able to bring forth the accomplishments. And he has given us the ability to do whatever it is that we need to do because it's in you to do it, sis. But you got to believe it for yourself. Because I know on this day, I had such a burning on the inside of me to allow, it all to come out and just to let you know that, girl, you need to bloom, honey. You need to get out there and shine. You need to be your best self. You need to get out there and do whatever it is that's in your spirit that you really want to do. It's sitting on that other side of you sitting there on your do nothing, procrastination, laziness, second guessing, all of the above. I had built a wall. Yes, I did. I built a wall around my creativity. I wouldn't let it out. I mean, I was miserable because I was holding on to my gifts. Because I was like, if I really get out there and really be myself, will people perceive me? Because I was made just to be that. I'm bubbly all the time. I love to laugh. I love to enjoy myself. I can be serious, but I'm about business too. And therefore, it was a time when I tried to be like the cookie cutter. And then I realized I couldn't fit the mold. No matter how much I tried, I couldn't fit the mold. And I believe that some of you are out there now in the same spot. You can't fit the mold. So come on out of where you are. Because where you are right now, sister girl, you don't belong there. Well, that's the end of my message for today. And I want to just say that I thank you and I appreciate you for watching my video. And if you watched it all the way to the end, I want you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't. And if this message, will encourage somebody else, baby, you need to go ahead and forward that on to your sister girl, your good girlfriend, and anybody else that you know that you probably have told them 1,000 times or they have told you 1,000 times, girl, you don't belong there. And it's time for you to get where you belong. A to the men. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later. All right.